Hello, hello, world.
Hey world, what's up? I didn't even hear the music stop. Welcome to the 4040 Network. I am your host, Cheryl, or Granny She Is, joined by the wonderful, amazing Wayne and our other guest, not our guest, our other host. What's his name? Jay will be here in a little while. Wow, I'm distracted. I'm distracted like a mug coming up in here. Yeah, I'm trying to hook up my
Look, we'll let the
what thing?
co-host assist. Hello,
Do that. Do
everybody.
your
Welcome to
thing.
the
Do your thing.
4040 Network. We are so excited to have y'all with us tonight. Make sure you understand the rules. And when you come in here, just don't sit quietly over there in the cut. We got comment section over here, and we want you to input. We want your feedback. We want your responses. My name is Dwayne. I'm the host of I Am Woe Podcast, CEO of Mr. I Am Woe Media Group, and the host with the most. Look, what she call herself, Timu Aaliyah.
Timu Aaliyah, what's up? I'm pulling it off. I think I'm pulling that shit off. Let me take the
Granny's in the
glasses off.
building. What's up, mama? How you feeling? How you feeling?
I'm feeling much better. You know, we're still on the mend. We're still on the mend. We can't do no Aaliyah moves. We can't dance right now because we still got to elevate the leg. But I can sing a little bit. I think I'm pulling off old school Aaliyah. What you think?
That's
If your girl only knew. Hey,
that
I'm
shit
about to
right
go
there.
listen to a little bit of that. I gotta put my glasses on, y'all, because I can't
That's that
see for
shit right
shit.
there.
Yeah,
But
but
now,
Aaliyah was the girl back in the day. She didn't get her props when she was living, and it always make my teeth itch. It always make me mad when I think about that shit. Because Aaliyah was that bitch back in the day. She was that bitch. Okay,
I
before there
love
was a
me, Aaliyah.
Beyonce, before there was a Sierra, back when like Missy and Little Kim and Lil Mo was doing their thing, Aaliyah was that girl. Okay, she was doing movies. She was doing, the music and could dance her ass off. I was a fan. And see, back then, I didn't have to wear no wig. My hair was literally this long back in the 90s. Back in the 90s when Leo's popping, my hair was my hair. Like it was this length. And of course, stupid me, what I do. What I do. Caught it all off, so I look like Eve. True story. That's why so many people love Kanye when he came on.
Look here, we're not gonna go to Kanye because
I mean, the
we're not gonna
Kanye
come. Matter of
today
fact, the subject
is
of
not
disappointing
right.
rappers, I could
Right.
have a whole nother show on that. Like I really could.
Yeah, the Kanye of today is not the Kanye from College Dropout. We know that. It's like the transition between Big Luther and Lil Luther. Remember how Big Luther sang when he was fat compared to the music he put out when he got skinny? It wasn't the same Luther.
Hey, but he could still sing though. His
He
his
could
music
still
just
sing.
transitioned.
Yeah.
See, Luther himself didn't change like that. But Kanye, goddamn it, that is not the same person. This is
Now
gay.
here, this is the perfect segue for this. Now, for Kanye, it has been determined that he has been diagnosed officially as having bipolar disorder. If he has been officially diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and this is Men's Mental Health Month, we're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show. Men's Mental Health Month. We need to acknowledge that because me personally dealing with someone in my own family who has bipolar with psychosis, now I had to learn a lot about this particular mental disorder. And when they aren't regulated on their medication, the stuff like that Kanye says, that's what they do. And you can't tell them that they're not God, they're not a genius, that they're not on top of the world, because when they are unregulated, their mind tells them that they are right and we are wrong. Their view is the right view and everybody else's view is wrong. Um it is the wildest shit I have ever seen in my life, but it's also teaching me patience in a way that I never thought I would need to learn it. Does that make sense? It's teaching me how to really take a step back and be like, hey, let me recognize the signs of what's happening with my own person and my family, so I can help them, right? And with Kanye, he has no buffers. He has no one, because he has so much money. He has no one to check him when he's unregulated because he's paying so many different people on his payroll. So if they see him acting crazy, they're not going to say anything to him because they don't want to be fired. But if he's mentally unstable, someone needs to be there to stand in the gap for that freaking man. That's all I'm saying. So it is a difference between old Kanye and new Kanye, but new Kanye need to stay on his meds because when he not on his meds, he pop out and say crazy shit. A lot of people don't recognize it as being what it is. You know that okay, he dealing with some shit. They just think that nigga need to go sit down somewhere. Period.
No,
Permanently.
we know he has that. I do think mental health is become more of an acceptable topic of conversation. It's
Mm-hmm.
not as taboo as it used to be. Um, but we still black, and
Yeah.
while we do understand and respect the seriousness of mental health challenges,
Mm-hmm.
being black also the world has never afforded us any excuses.
Nope.
So it's like, all right, we know you dealing with this, but get your shit together. Like,
Quick.
do what you got to do because you still have to function.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's the thing. So, bottom line is, like you said, he got at one point was a billionaire. I mean, he might be back there again. I'm not sure. I know Adidas ended up paying him out a nice little
Mm-hmm.
chunk of change after messing up the deal or whatever. But anyway,
Right.
but the bottom line is, money usually tends to make you more of what you naturally are. And
Mm.
apparently, Kanye is just an asshole.
He is an asshole. He was an asshole before. Like that part didn't even change.
I was
He was kind of a jerk
you've
before.
seen him have his debates and go back and forth. Nobody can tell him anything. He's
Nope.
locked into he's the smartest person in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he listens to no one. Now Kanye does have some intelligence,
Yeah.
and there are certain things he's very aware of, but at the same time, he's an absolute fool about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of feel bad for him, and then you kind of don't.
I don't feel bad for him though because
I
he
feel bad
has
because I know all of this really came to head when his mama passed.
right.
And it's like he's never been able to find his footing. But at the same time, you're not trying to connect with anyone to help you.
Right, because he has the resources and the money to get the help that he needs, far and above other people, other black people who don't have the money and the support and the help they need. You know what I mean? He's like he has it over and beyond. So that's the reason why I don't feel sorry for him. Now, this brings me to another segue. Tyler Perry's new movie called Straw that is on Netflix. Since
I
we're
ain't
talking
watched
about
it,
mental
and I'm gonna be
illness,
honest with you, I'm not gonna watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it because, of course, Tyler Perry has said that that is his genre. Black women and their pain and their struggle. That is his genre. He's not going to change the type of content that he puts out. He's literally catering to the audience, his audience that wants to see that. Now, of course, I feel like the struggling back black woman with mental illness trope has been overplayed, especially if you're not going to give us the resources we need to get beyond our struggle. It's like you're highlighting the struggle. And of course, they said that's his artwork and it's bringing light to mental illness. To whose benefit is my question. To whose benefit is it bringing light? Is somebody going to come rescue all these black women who are struggling with life and feeding your children and single parenthood? You know, who's going to come save them? Because I think at some point in the movie, and this is just for me watching the reviews and listening to other people talk about the movie Straw, that apparently she has some type of psychosis brought on from just all of the sheer shit that she's having to deal with, from her child to her job to not having money to like all these different things. It was the same thing in his movie The Deliverance. Even though that was a scary movie, it was the same thing. They were dealing with mental illness and struggle, and the mom dealing with her kid getting taken away, her kids getting taken away. It's the same damn thing over and over and over again. So I won't be watching it personally, because outside of highlighting it, what are we going to do individually in all these communities to help people when we see them struggling like that?
See, I wish that. So I'll say this:
Mm-hmm.
it's twofold.
Mm-hmm.
A, black women applaud somebody who's willing to tell your story,
Right.
because do you realize the reason why a lot of women are triggered by this shit is because they can probably relate to it too?
That's why. Yes.
That's so there is someone out here trying to tell your story specifically.
Mhm.
Um, now I ain't gonna lie. There's a specific network. I ain't watched it since a previous form of my life or whatever ever existed, but there was this thing called Lifetime Network, and it did some of the same shit, and
Right.
people were not complaining about that. You was tuned in every night and every
Right.
weekend watching these little raggedy ass movies, about the sister sleeping with the boyfriend
Right.
of her sister's boyfriend, or the husband beating on the kids
Mm,
and assaulting the wife, and this and that, or the woman that killed the husband, and now she trying. It's all kinds of weird ass shit going on where basically at the end of the day, it's a woman fending for her life.
right.
Whether she's right or wrong, at some point in time, she's fending for her life.
Hmm.
Um, so okay, applaud the fact that someone's now he's not just telling the story of a woman, he's telling the story of Black women.
Right. And somebody brought
Cool.
that up in some of the comments and some of the commentary that he is telling Black women's stories.
And now I would have an even bigger issue if you were only telling Black women's stories on a
Mhm.
Black network, because we
Right.
already know our stories. So
Mhm.
I'm glad he's not doing this just strictly on BET. I like
Right.
that you up on Netflix. There are people, there's a bigger audience of a bigger race or whatever who
Hmm.
might tune in. I'm not saying that they definitely gonna tune in, who might tune in and see the story and realize the horror that Black women really do go through.
Right.
However,
However.
Tyler Perry, you are a creative man, a very intelligent man, a very wise man.
Mhm.
But sir, you're gonna burn out this genre.
It seems like it.
There are other stories. There are other Black stories, and he has told other stories. But for some reason, this genre, like he said, that's his.
Right.
There is
He has
plenty more
cornered the
stories.
market. He has
You
cornered the
you you
market.
you yourself as a Black man,
Hmm.
tell some of our traumatic experiences.
Right.
Now he'll put some of those in certain movies. Give a
Yeah.
little spin off to like a certain little character or whatever, and tell this person's story within a movie.
Hmm.
Like it's just of many different plots. What was the movie, The Family That Prays?
I love that one. It's one of my
The
favorite
one where
ones.
the husband bust his ass for his wife,
Yeah. And she
only
was
for
over
her
there sleeping with the
the
man that used to
boss.
work for the boss. Yeah, she was sleeping
Yeah,
with the boss's son. Yeah.
that shit as wild as it sounds is very real.
Hmm.
It's very real. Um, but like you could have made more detailed movies about that type of thing. You see, instead of just making it a small portion.
Right.
And that's why I say it's so many different stories. Like he's told the stories of Black girls with daddy's little girls.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like tell the stories of our people, of all of our people, not
Hmm.
just because that's where you're gonna start losing your folk. I'm telling you, we don't like it's kind of like the slavery genre. We know it happened and we've seen enough of it. Now we don't want to keep seeing the shit.
I don't. I don't want to see another 12 years a slave. Like I don't want
I'm
to see another
done.
Harriet
I don't
Tubman.
want to see no after I done seen shit like Roots and 12 Years a Slave. And
Right.
I don't,
I don't want to see it no more. I'm done.
I've
That's just
seen what's the name? What the shit with Glory, with Denzel and
Mhm.
getting his ass beat, and
Right.
he just sitting there with that one tear. I said, this is traumatic shit.
And you can give me,
Rosewood.
look, you could give me some more Django. You could give me some more shit like that. You can give me some more Hateful Eight. Okay? I sit and
But,
watch that.
but
Because
that's my two
it
cents.
takes history. It's not too serious, and it takes history and kind of flips it on his head a little bit. Because we know what history, especially now that we have access to the resources of what really happened with us and with our ancestors. We don't have to rely on public school anymore. We can get the information for ourselves. As a matter of fact, I have um the critical race theory. I have it saved. So if you want it, just let me know and I can send it to you guys. I have to put my email address or something in the description box below. But if you do want critical race theory from, I think it's from Harvard or Stanford, it was downloaded back when Trump got into office and they started talking about Project 2025 going into play. I have the entire curriculum. So if anyone wants it, let me know. I'll put my email address below.
But anyway, man, that's just my little 2 cents on Tyler Perry. We got
Mhm.
plenty more we got to get into.
Yeah, for
But
sure. For
I will
sure.
say, no, I'm not going. I've heard what the basis or the premise of one of her traumatic experiences. I myself personally have experienced. I can't do it, and I think we need to know that too about ourselves. Know your
Right.
limitations.
I know mine. I'm dealing with this in real life right now. Okay. I don't need a movie So I know that I'm not the audience for that movie. That movie is for people who are not currently in the shit. Now y'all see me on this podcast and it's all smiles because this is an outlet for me to just talk and release some of the stuff that I've been thinking about in my mind and to help you maybe get through life too. But life is hard. Life is life, and I'm mending from a broken leg. I'm dealing with mental illness in my own house. I had to move in with my parents. I had to let my apartment go. I'm currently not working. So when people see you, like, how do you keep going? Well, you have no other choice to keep going. Because I have only one option, and that's to win and to succeed. And if that don't work, we're gonna succeed and we're gonna succeed and we're gonna succeed. So whatever obstacle come, we jumping that bitch. We jumping it, we going around it, we tunneling through with our chisel and hammer, however we gotta do it. We getting through. And I
We're
would
gonna
love
get through.
somebody to tell that kind of story. Like, okay, that bitch keep bouncing back. Right. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. We
And
going
let's
for
that's the thing. You can nobody ever plans because basically what you're doing is a reset.
it.
Like you're having to start over again.
Right.
And you got a pretty significant birthday coming this year, right? Like
Yeah.
nobody expected this to be how the year was gonna roll.
Absolutely.
But
I'm supposed to
at
been
the
on
same
my health
time,
journey. You know,
what
I'm
they say,
turning 50. I'm supposed to have been exercising, getting ready to go on cruises and shit, saving my money, you know, and I'm so far from that. It feels like I am right now. I feel like I'm a long way from that goal. But hey, still
you want
turning
to see a magic
50.
trick?
Yeah. What's up, Jonathan? Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome to the show.
What's up, all my fellow talking heads in the house? What's up?
What's going
Jay
on? It's
Hawkins in
Chisel
the
in the
building.
house.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Hey, it looks like I'm the special guest tonight.
You
You know.
Uh,
are. It's
So,
you, baby.
guys,
It's you. Yeah, what you
hey,
got?
we are back. We are back in the house. Look, it is life, and so this is something I want to give to you. Get knocked down 10 times, get up 11.
Amen. Say it
there
again.
it is.
Get knocked down 10 times, get up 11.
Get up 11.
Mm.
Okay, I only have 10 fingers. Get up 11. We
That's
love it.
it.
Now we got to catch him up. We got to catch him up. How much did you hear backstage?
I did not hear a lot. I did not hear a
Okay.
lot.
Oh, we will allow you to have you seen Tyler Perry's movie Straw?
Yeah,
You
let's
know what?
start
I
there.
was gonna talk. I wanted to talk about that because that
So I'll make it
is
known real quick.
that's
I
real.
have not seen it. I don't want to see it. I understand that there's a situation in there that might be a little too traumatic for me to be able to handle. And I knowing my limitations and I'm gonna respect it. But
Yeah,
we did
same.
kind of get on Tyler Perry with this genre.
We did.
Well, it is a drama genre, and I can say this: I can relate to that character because I was in a certain set of circumstances like that character. Not the. Since you hadn't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you
We're not going to
or
see
the
it. You can
other
give all
I'm
the
people.
not gonna
spoilers you
watch it.
want. Okay, because
Okay,
I don't care.
No,
you don't
it's like I
care.
said, it's I've heard there's a loss of a child, and having experienced that myself, I don't want it.
I've experienced that.
I don't want it.
Okay.
I've experienced that. And I've experienced going to the end with my child, and it was cancer. And the last words that we ever said to each other on this earth was, "I love you," before she transitioned. I've been there. I know that pain. I know that pain of trying to bounce back. And what you think is real, your perception may be off after that, because that's all. It's a lot of grieving that goes on with that. So
Very
I
true.
can relate to things just falling apart. You know, I mean, a lot of people don't know my house burned during that time, and I had to have surgery because a part of a tree fell on me. You know, it was crazy. I had a lot of stuff that went
Right.
down. I had a boss at that time. She was something else. I had a boss who was pretty much like that boss in the situation. I'll tell you what, when I came back from burying my daughter,
Uh-oh.
she wrote me up because I was
What?
gone too long. Oh yeah, it was crazy.
I would have had to
It's
break
crazy.
her neck. See,
He
that's
got
that
rolled
kind
up.
of stuff.
He got rolled up for being gone too long. I only got a certain allotted amount of time, and if I had gone past that, I definitely would have walked into that same situation. But I also knew coming back too soon, I knew I wasn't ready. But as a black man, what you gonna do?
Yep, you got a family
At
to
the time,
support.
I was the only one working in my household.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't work, we don't eat. Not I don't eat, we don't eat.
Right.
And that basically was the world letting me know to my face, I could give a fuck about what you think you dealing with. You owe me. Get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
think
that's why I said to you when it comes to how we raise our children, the world shows black men. They do not care what you're dealing with.
of course not.
We're not gonna give you a soft place to land.
Of course not.
Absolutely not.
We
Of
refuse
course not.
to.
And this is why I have such animosity toward black people who side with the current administration.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
You get no peace over here on my side. I don't care
none.
who you are.
I ain't gonna
I
lie.
don't care if you're a pastor, preacher, priest, my homeboy. You can't
I
even
don't
be
care
my
about if
blood
you black
brother.
either.
Right.
Black,
Mm-hmm.
brown, no
Well,
matter what color it is.
I expect the
There was
other
a
side.
whole warning label that came with voting for this man,
Yes, it was.
and they all ignored it. And now everybody wants to play dumb, even Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No, oh no, you don't get to play.
Not her playing dumb.
Yeah,
like,
you know
what? She ain't
the
playing.
Big Beautiful Bill.
Yeah, she don't.
she ain't playing for real.
That part.
You know, she still believe in Jewish space lasers.
But the Big Beautiful
drink my
Bill, you
water.
know, the Senate approved it, and then it had to go to the House now. Well, after they approved it, and while it was, on its way to the House, whatever, she finds out that in there, it was somewhere that written that the government would have control over AI. At some point in time, they would turn over control of AI to the government. And that's where she had a problem.
Because she didn't read the whole bill that she was.
And that's the part that like shocked the hell out of me. She was like, I didn't know that was in. How you vote for a bill and you don't know what's in it?
I read all 500 plus pages.
Or the strategy is to vote for knowing it and then tell her constituents, I didn't know. And to try to save face.
Told that white lady was, you're going to make a lot of money off of this, Marjorie. Just say yes. You're going to make a lot of money, baby. That's it. Don't worry about the rest. Don't worry about what it says. And to that point, Marjorie Taylor Greene has made a shit ton of money. Remember when the stock markets was failing? Guess who was making money?
She and Bobo. As a matter of fact,
other rich people.
She those PPE loans that people got.
Yeah, I remember those.
The ones that she got, along with other people in Congress, they voted to forgive those.
Yeah,
for people who are
Congress. Oh, I'm glad you said that. I was like, you big ass hypocrites, y'all stood right in this camera. This is exactly what they stood right in this camera, and they said, "We will not be forgiving debts. All debts must be paid." At the same time, while your debts were being forgiven.
Yep.
But we got to pay debts back for education that technically should be free.
Well, nobody's taking that seriously now, because why would I pay my debt when my own government don't pay their debt? And then you hear you putting tariffs on China, and you already owe China $1 trillion, but you're trying to put a tariff on China. Don't you fucking owe China money, America? Make it make sense.
They finna try to garnish wages, though.
Yeah.
Like it's bigger
you better
than
get on it and put yours in deferment or default, or not default. I think they got a few different deferments you can put them in, and payment plans you can put them in. So you got to do something with them. You can't just let them go into default, because if you allow your student loans to go into default, they're gonna come after you.
I was so shocked because mine actually had been written off. They were officially written off. They were no longer on my credit report. My credit shot up, yada yada yada. I was like, I don't care what they say about Joe Biden. He good to me.
Because they wasn't even studying there. They wasn't even studying student loans when Joe Biden was in office.
That shit was, like I said, it got written out, like it was closed out. The councils closed out, everything. I saw the status of, and the next thing I know, your boy got in office and he flipped the switch, and my credit said, fuck. It
So
plummeted.
wait, did the student loan show back up on your credit
They
report?
showed back up.
But do you have where it's showing it was written off or anything like that? Do you have any type of
Closed out.
statements?
Yes.
You can dispute that. You can dispute that on all three credit reports. Now I'm having trouble
Listen.
getting into Equifax, but TransUnion and not Equifax, TransUnion. What's the other one? Equifax, TransUnion, and it's one that's eluding me right now. Shit. But it's three of them. So you just got to go check it. I have the apps for all three. For some reason, I'm having trouble getting into my Equifax app. And I've been checking my shit regularly because during this day and time, this day and age, you need to stay on top of your credit report because they could put anything on there if they decide they want to take or charge
Well, they
you
closed.
for something. So make sure your student loans are listed on there correctly. If they have been paid off, you just need to go to all those three credit bureaus and dispute whatever's incorrect. I don't care if it's a date wrong. I don't care whatever it is. Go and dispute all those discrepancies on your credit report. First of all, it will up it by so many points.
Oh
And
yeah,
I'm
it
telling y'all this because
definitely will.
I'm in this process right now. I also reached out to Nexus, which is something that governs all three credit reports. So you can go through Nexus and get all the information for all three credit bureaus in one place. And I have that report too. I haven't had time to sit down and look at it because life is life. And so I just been going to the three credit bureaus myself. And anything I see that's a discrepancy, I am either calling the company and requesting that they delete it from my credit report, or I'm going directly to each of those credit bureaus and putting a dispute in. If you see any collections on your account, listen, guys, and I know this is not on the ticket to talk about, but I'm gonna throw this out here. If you see any collections on your credit report, call those companies directly and ask them to delete that inquiry from your credit report because technically you probably owed, who knows, I don't know, furniture store back in the day that sold your account, right, to Joe Bob Industries or whatever. You never had an agreement with Joe Bob Industries,
And
so
they
you
can't
don't
show
have
you
to
the.
that's right, that you don't have to
Mhm.
assume that debt. So you can
That's right.
call them and
No,
let them know
I've
that you're
done
not
that.
assuming that debt, and then you have them request that they take it off. I just had 8 inquiries removed from mine because I was in a bankruptcy that was dismissed. Bankruptcy was dismissed. That shit should have been with the bankruptcy dismissed. So they were pulling individual accounts from that bankruptcy and making them active again to put it on my credit report to try to come
Uh-uh.
after me for money. They can't do that.
Uh-uh.
That's illegal. So I know that
Yeah,
wasn't
no.
on our docket to talk about, but y'all check them credit reports. I'm telling you, you can get some shit
Somebody
cleaned
just
up.
got blessed.
Yeah, you know,
Somebody just got blessed. Somebody just got blessed. So
I'm telling you, do that. My credit score is starting to shoot up because I'm wondering why I went from like 625 to 550. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And it was these old accounts. And then I noticed that they had the accounts like open in January 2025, and these were accounts that were open back in like freaking 2012, 2013. And I'm up here trying to clean it up because that bankruptcy, they're like pulling these old companies that don't know me, I don't know them. They just bought a debt, a big stack of debt from whoever. I don't know. I don't owe y'all shit. So I'm just saying, y'all get on that credit bureau shit. I might put a link down for that if I remember to. All right, moving on.
tell them,
Go ahead,
tell them read
Go
between,
ahead.
tell them read between the lines.
Mhm.
I ain't gonna lie. I done already let one of them get, and I beat them. I beat them. They knew they wouldn't get
Read
nothing
between the
out of
lines.
me. I had a car that
Mhm.
they wrongfully. I was with Chase,
Mhm.
and the way I was working at Dollar General as a store manager. So, and it was in one of those impacted stores. So I was working 75, 80 hours a week. Like I
Mhm.
was
Oh,
Oh, you
that's
dog
was
ass.
something.
humping it. You was
God damn.
humping it, man.
You
I was
sure was. Oh, Lord
dog
Jesus.
ass tired. And I had just gotten a car or whatever, and the car note payment was late. Not because I ain't had the money. I simply forgot to communicate with my wife. Like we made a payment previously. The bank was right across the street from her job, so it wasn't hard for us, But it was another month rolled around, and I forgot to communicate. Baby, can you do that or whatever? Anyway, the payment was late. I was at work. Next thing I know, she calling me like, bro, they got the car. They putting it up on the thing. I'm like, what you mean they got the car? So I go back to the house and dude was like, I already got it up on the rack. I was like, bro, I can go make the payment right now. I said, I'm just at work, but I'm having to leave work, come dealing with this foolishness. I'm like, if I was gonna leave work, if I'd have known it was that dire, I would have left work to go make the payment. But like, so anyway, dude was like, well, I'm gonna just take it down to the thing or whatever. You can just pay them and they'll release it back to you.
No, they won't.
You sure? He was like, yeah, all you gotta do is make the payment. You had to pay the fee for it being held or whatever, but they'll release it back to you. So I called them to make the payment, and they was like, this was a new loan. So you were late. You got to pay the whole thing off. I was like, if I had the whole thing, I wouldn't have needed the loan.
So it triggered a due on sale clause. It triggered that type of a clause, right?
Instantly. So when they did that, I was like, I have the money to pay, and you're telling me you don't want my money? Not unless you're paying all of it. I said, okay, thank you for telling me you don't want my money. So when they all of a sudden start trying to send a collection thing or whatever.
What you gonna collect on? You got the car.
And that's
what
you gonna
collect on.
How you trying to collect money from me and you got the car? Like, so when they actually called, I was like, it was another company. They sold the debt to somebody else. And I told them I said, hey, they played you. Excuse me, sir? I said, they have the car. And the reason that you have the debt is because they sold the car. They got their money and they got money from you because y'all bought the debt from them. But guess what? I don't owe you. I ain't signed nothing with you. And if you think you're getting money out of me, you're wrong. I ain't heard from them folks since, and that car fell off my credit. Clear as day. Beat them at their own game. All you got to do is just tell them straight, like, not be afraid to let them know you know the game.
Mm-hmm.
They will really try to hustle you.
Yep. We got the
They will really try to hustle you. And I was like, man, I got beat on something that wasn't even like really a big deal. Like, okay, late, cool. I could pay a late fee, whatever. Of course, the way I'm working, I got the money. Was it
a situation where that particular dealership you financed through that dealership or through a third party?
I financed through a dealership. It was.
Is it clear?
Much clearer.
Yeah, you much clearer.
Much clearer.
Much clearer. All right, cool. Yeah. I had to switch from my phone. Okay, cool. This one's clear. We'll go with this one. Yep. Can y'all hear me okay though? Let's see.
Yeah, you coming in loud and clear.
Yep.
But no, I had to switch. I had purchased that through Honda out of New Orleans East. Like, it was directly from them.
Yeah. So they did something. Yeah. So guys, they do the same thing in housing, and
I beat the system. That's all I care about. Yeah. All I tell people nowadays is, if you ever have any situation, do not be afraid to go toe to toe and tell folks the real what's with it. If it was a situation when you know you were not wrong, you got wronged, let it play out. I promise you, their hand will get exposed.
That's right.
That's all they try to do is double dip to see if they can get some extra money out of you. No, you're not going to get me to pay for a car that you stole.
Sorry about that, y'all. Technical issues.
Okay, now you have. There you go. But now,
I don't know if I'm glitchy or not. I can't tell. I don't know.
You good?
No glitch.
The delay?
No glitch. No
you
glitch.
Good.
Okay.
But now, other than that, though, man, appreciate that tip from you, Cheril. Yep. What's our next topic?
Granny, she is.
Next topic is LA riots. I think it's LA riots, but I'm gonna click back over to the other camera because again, my cameras are like doing the fucking thing. Mm-hmm. So LA riots. It's not even the riots, it's the LA protest. I don't know if I'm glitchy or not, but it's the LA protest.
LA protest.
So I've called some of my friends that are agents in LA, and they pretty much said when they first started, they were like, well, we don't, that thing is only like two blocks out of all of LA. LA is huge. It's only 2 blocks, right. And we're over here cooking. We at the cookout. We kicking it. We don't know nothing else about that. And so for a peaceful protest, somebody at the White House who will remain nameless, Voldemort, sent Now, the National Guard. Tap the National Guard.
And
then the Marines.
Yep. We have our own troops on our own soil going against
people who are speaking up. And they actually, from what I understand, I think these people had a permit for this.
ICE was in the neighborhoods and they were basically trying to snatch people, bro.
Right.
So they were trying to keep them out the neighborhoods, and then it erupted into a protest. But you're right, it is a peaceful protest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want to say, Governor Gavin Newsom to Governor of California.
Now that cat has
he got some wheels on him.
He got some.
But he's going toe to toe with Trump right now in a way that nobody really has.
It's scaring Trump and the border czar.
Because what he did make known, what does California's flag say on it?
I have no clue.
California state flag says the Republic of California.
And we have to think about this. Each state has its own governing constitution.
But here's the thing.
Yeah, the federal government can't trump that.
Here's another part to that. What a lot of people don't pay attention to the fact is California subsidizes other smaller states.
They subsidize a lot of the red states. So, for instance, Texas does a lot of talking, but Texas is a welfare state as well.
So what he basically said is, and it's never happened before, like really, where a sitting president has sent the military in or the National Guard in without the request of the actual government.
Right.
It has to come, and even Trump himself in 2020 said that you cannot send in a National Guard without the request of the governor.
Mm-hmm.
But he's trying to make it seem like it's getting out of hand. Let me go and be savior.
No, but him and Newsom wasn't getting along before. Remember they
that's
had that
what
whole
he wants to make Newsom look
ago?
bad. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
That's what this is about, which is
so
stupid.
he's trying to bully Newsom, but what he doesn't know is you're playing with somebody who actually knows politics. And Newsom said, if you keep playing with me, we'll cut the funding off.
Right.
That's supposed to support your red states.
Mm-hmm. He done pulled a Canada.
Yep.
He pulled a Canada and a China. He was like, run it. Come on, we finna run the play. He about to run the play on his ass. Go sit down.
The power of the purse. Mm-hmm. The power of the purse. And guess who backed up?
Who?
Trump and what's the guy's name? Tom Holman.
Yeah, I think that's about right. That pig-looking guy. Czar. Yeah, the little fat guy.
Yeah, the one that the border czar and talks all tough. Both of them talk tough. And then when Gavin said,
"Oh, let me pull it up." Hold on.
If you want me, come and he said what Mystical said.
I heard that you were looking for me.
Hello. Right. All right. 3 minutes ago, they got a protest. LA protest. Newsom slams Trump's brazen abuse of power. As what does it say? As LA mayor imposes a curfew, and they sent out 700 troops. They didn't make accommodations for the troops. I saw an article about that he didn't even make accommodation for the National Guard.
They're sleeping on the floor.
Sleeping on
because
the floor
he didn't request them. How can you make an accommodation? That's like somebody's dropping by your house and then saying they're gonna stay the night. You didn't expect company. I can't make accommodations for something I knew. Some people I didn't were coming. They were sleeping out on the floors.
And it's parts of LA. It's not all of LA. It's just parts of LA. And it says the California governor condemned the president's deployment of the military in a televised speech that came moments after Mayor Karen Bass issued an overnight curfew in parts of downtown Los Angeles. And I'm reading this from the New York Times. And the National Guard, I don't know why they shot that one reporter with a rubber bullet. That made
that was wild.
She
Mhm.
wasn't doing anything but reporting the news, and
Mm-mm.
the dude was just
That was
like,
wild.
And
like what?
it just so happened the camera caught him because he
Yeah.
was lining her up, and I guess he thought that he was going to get a shot off without the camera being on him. And right
Oh
when he
no, they got his
turned,
ass.
the camera got him.
That was wild.
That was. I'm like, what the fuck? They out here just shoot people all random and shit. What is going
Hey
on?
man, you know me, bro. I would have lit this thing up real quick.
That nigga is dead. D-U-D, boss.
We'll cut the fun.
That nigga is dead.
So do your thing, do some, because that's uncalled for. And then we got Trump, who it's probably I think the man is on cocaine. Why ain't nobody talked? Why is that not talked about enough? Y'all
Well,
know
you know
him
what?
and
Well, they're not gonna
Elon
talk
Musk
about they
is
dirt
on
because
cocaine. Come
did
on
you
now,
see Elon Musk before him and Trump broke up?
high as Cooter Brown,
Hey,
high as
they
Drew
trying
as
to say
pussy.
it might have been his autism or whatever.
No, he
No,
was
he
high.
just high
Hey
Mhm.
man, that mother was
because I got high.
Why we not talking about that? Y'all letting these people who got all this money and they done fried their brains on drugs run the country. And we can clearly see by the decisions that they are making that they don't know what they're doing. And the crazy part is, one of you all sent me the statistics that showed the voting in like the different bureaus in New York. And after tabulating the Democratic votes
oh,
in
that
those
word is starting to
areas,
spread now.
clearly, Kamala won in several districts that wasn't
That
even highlighted during the actual election that night.
that word is starting to spread, and I'm
Mhm.
dead serious.
Mhm.
That it was
I
that he
think an
stole the
investigation
election.
really might be coming.
It's got to be because, and I was sitting in a restaurant with my daughters. We was in this Italian restaurant, and we were watching the electoral votes get counted on the TV.
And
And
you know
I
that's the
kid you not,
last thing.
I've never seen electoral votes come in so fast. It usually takes them 2 or 3 days to even get them all tallied, especially from like Florida and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is like always the worst to get the numbers in, and also Nevada electoral votes.
But
So usually
but
those don't
So
Elon
come
here's the
in
told
super
question.
fast. And
So here's the
California came
question.
in way too fast for me. I'm like, what is going on? Like, how
Elon
is this
told
happening?
when they were going through their public breakup, he
Mhm.
told.
Yeah, he told. He
So
flat
here's the
out said
question.
it. Mhm.
Did they go ahead and get those fake electors in place ahead of time and
Absolutely.
execute them?
They've been
Those
planning
fake
this since
electors.
2020. Absolutely. You can't tell me this hasn't been a play in motion since 20 since the what they call it, the insurrection or whatever at the White House on January the 6th.
January
Mm-hmm.
6th.
January 6th, 2020.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This has
I
been in
saw a
play
video. Do you
since
know there are
then.
people who support Trump and don't know what January 6th means?
And then this is the other thing I noticed, and I know we don't want to talk about this in America anymore. Public school, we used to have something back in the day in public school where if you were diagnosed with some type of learning disability,
Mm-hmm.
comprehension, reading, they put you in the special classes. And
Mm-hmm.
those people did not mix with regular students.
Yep,
With
those were the
today's day and
days
age,
before.
everyone commingles together. And
It's
I
called
am
inclusion.
100% convinced that one half of America really has learning disabilities and they're stupid. And the other half of us have some intellect. I don't know how else to say it. One half of America is kind of dumb. The other half kind of
Well,
got some sense. And
they,
here we
they
are. We're
also,
polarized.
I mean,
And
they
mix
also
religion
went
in
ahead.
there. Throw religion in there. Yeah, it's a
Well,
powder keg.
was also social promotion. Think about that. So
Mm,
where the kids did not meet the standard, the state standard, but they promoted them anyway to be
yeah,
along with their peers, right? So
very
these are
true.
people who had problems with reading comprehension, couldn't think, couldn't form a coherent argument and link it to evidence, right?
Hmm.
So I'm like empirical evidence. That was too far, but Bubba needed to graduate to be able to run the tire shop with his dad. So
Right.
we're gonna get Bubba on out of here. You know, sorry to all the Bubbas who actually did well in school. Sorry,
Your name
but
just happened to be Bubba.
That's okay, Forrest. It's
Man,
okay,
look,
Forrest.
y'all know that's half the problem. Half the problem is half of these people are not they're high functioning. And we can't say this. They're high functioning special needs.
well, I'm gonna say this. This is what I heard a
Mhm.
long time ago. Long time ago. There was a teacher I had. He taught government at Brookhaven High School. You
Oh
may
man,
ask,
I love
you
him.
know, yeah, little short tail, little guy, right?
What was
Okay,
his name? Mr. Wyatt.
Mr. Wyatt, Mr. Wyatt. Yep, Mr. Wyatt. And he taught us that the whole purpose behind the Electoral College is so that the people out there who would not learn,
Mhm.
who the uneducated, could not sway the election, right, in a
Right.
different direction. So the Electoral College was supposed to be a protection against that. Oh God!
Supposed to
Now
be. It
we
was.
have
I know. Look at Wayne's face, but he's right. It's supposed to be a protection against the stupid people putting the wrong person in place.
but now we have so
Until it got bought.
Right. Until it got
Anything.
bought.
And literally, I'm telling you, when we witnessed all of that, that confirmed for me. Any and everything is for sale in this
And it's for
country.
sale. Mhm.
including souls,
Which is
because
so
they have.
scary. Look,
Oh,
y'all,
well, we knew that.
don't
part.
even get me on the conversation of spiritual stuff and souls and frequencies, and don't get me on that.
Mhm.
Don't get me. That's a whole
But,
nother conversation for a different
Epstein's
type of
and
but
audience.
I'm being
the
so honest
Diddy's
when
and
I say this. I'm so fed up. I think that the government now is so corrupt. You need to just tear this whole shit down.
Yeah, it's coming to that. We're there, and unfortunately, it may take. Whoo, it may take some type of drastic um
Overhaul.
overhaul of our government. And I don't know what that looks like, but man, you got to crawl through the shit before you can get to sunshine sometimes.
I tell you exactly what the shit look like.
Bring the clock. Bring. You are dead. Dead. You are dead.
Somebody gonna have to lose their mind.
oh,
I ain't talking about the January 6th. I think they were being nice.
it's a situation of not only overhauling a system here, but dealing with outside influences coming in, and there may be a foreign power since the show is off the rails coming in to actually launching attacks to be able to take over
I got a
this
question.
country as well. Yeah,
You saw what
see
happened
that.
to the CEO of United Healthcare.
Mhm.
Y'all really think y'all want to keep playing with people?
Mhm.
Y'all really think that we gonna listen? That was a fed up man. I'm not saying what he did was right,
No,
but
it wasn't.
if you gonna sit here and believe that it wasn't justified, I heard that man backstory.
Mhm.
Damn right, it was just you
You see
broke
how
him.
calm he was when they put him in handcuffs? He ain't no scared at all.
You broke him.
The question is, do y'all think they had the right man? Do you think
Luigi,
that Luigi was the person that really did it, or was he just
I
the fall
have
guy?
no clue on that one.
I don't
He
think
was
he
so
hadn't denied
calm.
it, has he?
No, he
Yeah.
hasn't denied it, and he's been quite calm. I ain't seen him begging for his life or his freedom.
No, when you
Well, he's
go
been
through the
quiet.
process
The
of
media
watching
is
your
not.
mother die, like
Well,
painfully die, you ain't got much stuff to really fight with.
that's like John Q.
Yeah, he was like a John Q type of situation.
That's what I say. You broke him, and if you think he's just an anomaly, I promise you, there are many more Americans lining up that because all this crookedness going on.
Mm-hmm.
Who's it? One of these insurance companies is suing because they're allowed. A matter of fact, I think it's United Healthcare is being sued.
Oh wow.
Because they're ever since the assassination, they've been accepting too many claims.
Ooh.
And the big wigs over, I can't remember the company that's over them. But they said no, that's too much. We have a right to make money off of this, and you're costing us money. So they're suing United Healthcare behind this. It's absolute foolishness. So you're saying that they have to deny people just so you can make your money? Why are you in the insurance business?
To make money. They're not in insurance to pay claims.
But if people are funding, it's not like they're getting free insurance. This insurance is out of whack. The way it costs, like I said, it's the biggest scam. Medical insurance, auto insurance is definitely a big ass scam.
I used to sell life. I used to have my life and health license to sell insurance, and I chose to sell it for a particular company Who do you need something? I sold for a particular company who did extra policies. We did cancer policies and hospital and policies and long term and short term insurance. We
Mhm.
paid out those types of claims in addition to like your medical insurance. The thing I liked about the company I work for is they actually paid the claims out. If something happened to you and you happened to get sick
Mhm.
at work and you needed a hospital care and they paid so much per item or whatever. And my clients got paid. They got their money. I did not like medical insurance just because of the setup of it, the nature of it, and I'm like, no, this is bullshit because it's not there to help. It's really not there to help the patient, you know,
Now
and
that's
it's
because,
it's
and let's think
sad.
about this
So
too.
I
If
don't
you,
like selling
Mhm.
insurance. I let my license go, and everybody's like, you should just kept your license. I don't like it. That's a business I don't like. I'm
it's
sorry.
it's
You
a
know
whole
what?
scam,
Mhm.
and if you
This
got
is
if you got
something.
decency in you, it will mess with your soul.
Now, this is something I saw personally because I knew this little boy. So when I was teaching in Duncanville ISD at this time, there was a little kid. He was a couple of years younger than the kids in my classroom, but he had an older brother that was uh, in the same grade where I was teaching.
Mhm.
And so, lo and behold, this little kid, um, his father had sat down with a person I knew who was with Primerica, right?
Mhm.
And got a policy. And he airlift. This is before they had electronic sending. He actually had a paper policy, a paper application. He sent it on the plane because you had to drop it in a plane to get to Atlanta to where Primerica was. The little kid was riding his bike in the alley, and a dump truck didn't see him and hit him, killed him.
Mm.
About time, and they actually airlifted him to the hospital in order to make sure that try to save him, but he wasn't able to be saved.
Right.
What? So soon as the application got to Primerica, the kid was already deceased. Primerica cut a check and sent it to that family on the spot. I thought that was stand.
Man,
I thought that was stand. And the kids, we had to have counselors come in because my whole classroom was tore up because
Right.
they all played with this little boy. We'd have counselors from different schools come in and talk to the kids. It was a real traumatic issue, you know. And but their family, automatic because the kid was on the policy with the parents and everything else. They could have checked right then. They hadn't even gotten the first premium payment,
Hmm.
and they could have checked.
That's amazing.
I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what that is? That's
Mhm,
humanity. That's their humanity,
Hmm.
and that has been dying in this country.
mhm.
That's what I've been trying to tell.
Yep.
Humanity in
Hmm.
us. That was what was at stake with this whole election.
Exactly.
So you are watching it like even now, everything that's going on in California.
Mhm,
Look who's remaining quiet. The same people who sit behind and kiss old boy ass. Them the
Mm.
same folks that they've been yapping in everybody else's face.
yeah,
Now
where
all
they
of a
at?
sudden it's going down, and they just
No, ain't nobody saying nothing.
The
Even when
same
you have like the Democrats on the floor who are angry, you have, of course, we have, Senator
Jasmine
Crockett.
Crockett,
We have Senator Crockett. We have the other black lady. I
I
put her
love
on
it.
my page the other day. I don't know her name. We've
Maxine
had,
Waters.
not Maxine, a light
The
skinned
bald
lady.
head.
She got up and went off too.
Mhm,
And you have a lot of other senators that
AOC.
are, and they're just
okay.
not, the Republicans are just as quiet as they can be. Like either y'all on the take the Republicans, or y'all know
They
that
scared too.
we're ushering in, I'm saying Trump is ushering in, or trying to, he's attempting to usher in a third Reich right here in America. I just
Mhm,
posted on my story on IG this young lady giving the history of how Hitler came to power.
mhm,
And where this current administration, this current regime is trekking along that same line. And it's kind of really, really spooky to watch it and to see it unfold. So everybody needs to sit down and start reading the constitutions to see where it goes. Because at this point, I know there's some kind of stopgap in there to where if the president isn't deemed competent, that he has to be fucking removed. Him and his vice president, because
Because the
his vice
24th,
president is not competent either. If you ask
But they're
me,
not gonna challenge him on that.
they need to challenge
He
him
is
on
showing
that.
all kinds of signs of incompetence.
He really is, and dementia. Like something is not right there.
Oh yeah,
Challenge him on
he's
that.
absolutely losing his fucking mind.
They're 82 years old. We don't need to have people running for election that's that fucking old in the first place. It should be a limit on how old they need
I'm
to be to
still
run.
mad at America for not voting for Bernie Sanders. They was trying
Yeah,
to say
talking about
how
he
old
was
he
too
would be.
old.
We could have had Bernie the last 8 years and
We
would have
could
been
have.
just fine.
That's why he's an independent and he's a socialist. He is not a socialist. He made more sense than a lot of the candidates that we put in office have made in many years.
And not only more sense, you know how instead of having complaints about things that are going wrong, if you actually listen to Bernie, he has plans on how to make things right. That's the
Yeah.
shit that I think people ignored. Don't tell me all the time what's going wrong. Do you have a solution? It's kind of like
Right.
this whole dating thing. You listen to the men versus women, women versus men, and it gets to be at some point in time white, and you just go, I'm sick of hearing all the bitches and complain. What's the solution? And Bernie, actually, if you had listened to him, when it comes to many different topics, he has so many different solutions and
He
answers.
did.
And even if it's not perfect, he's willing to work with other. He doesn't care if you Democratic, Republican. He don't care. We can tweak it, have you, but we will get answers. That's the type of leadership we need to have, man. With this dude didn't have to answer not one real question. None of the Republicans are answering real question. They dodge everything. They dodge and deflect.
I used to watch
Okay.
a show years ago. And we're gonna switch subjects on after this. I used to watch a show years ago. Not watch. I used to listen to it on the radio. And the guy, he's retired now, but it was used to talk about politics, and he used to call the Republicans the Republicans. He said because they can't do shit right, and he used to call the Democrats the Demodon'ts. He said because they absolutely fucking won't step up to the plate. And this was years ago that I used to watch this show on 94. What was it? 94.1. They did the sports. You could listen to like all the games and stuff, and they did political commentary. And I used to love to hear this guy's take on it because he would balance the scales and talk about what each party was bringing to the table or what they want. And he always came down to it's Democrats and the Republicans, so the Demodon'ts and the Republicans, because the Dems don't and the Republicans just absolutely can't because of how their mind works. Like they're stuck in this controlling
Fantasy.
mindset, this fantasy of
And
this is
it never
how
happened.
yeah, this is how life works. It's the man and the woman and then the children. And if the man, and I'm talking about white men, I ain't talking about, it's the white man who controls everybody else. And if you don't fall under this, then you're wrong. So for black people who get behind that, I really don't understand your mentality. I really don't understand you. You self-sabotage your own self. Like you hate yourself. I don't know how else to say it. And on that note, let's switch gears.
I have one more
Because
thing before we switch.
okay, go ahead.
And that's going to be what you're looking for is the 25th Amendment to the Constitution, sections 3 and 4, that provide for the disability of the president and succession along those lines. So if he's deemed unfit,
Right.
that falls under sections 3 and sections 4 of the 25th Amendment.
Why is that not being talked about?
We know why.
We're gonna say that for another show because that's
We
gonna make
know
my
why.
teeth itch further, and I want to talk about some other shit. We're gonna get off that nerve because we don't have a solution for it tonight. Things are in play and in motion, and we are sitting back watching the world burn or America burn at this current time.
Looks
So here
like
we
the
go.
revolution will be televised.
The revolution will, well, it may be.
It
Our
might be.
current media, our mainstream media in America is not really showing us what we need to see. So,
They're
stay
showing what
tuned.
they
Yeah, what you say?
for viewers and for clicks and views and everything else. But like, what's the real story? I think I sent y'all something on TikTok about that.
Yeah, if you want the real story, go to TikTok, go to Red Note, go to
Just find
Instagram.
anybody who lives in California.
Yeah,
who's
find
in
anybody who live there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
and they'll tell you what's
talked to
going
my
on.
friends there. They get the real story. I
I
talked to
saw a
my
woman
friends
that's the
there.
real
who's
story.
in the protest. She was walking in the protest with her camera. Look, this is what's going on.
Right.
I
That's
don't
what you
know
gotta
what they
watch now.
showing y'all.
It's just not blurry.
People just walking
Yeah.
and holding flags and signs. Ain't nobody saying nothing. They just walking.
And it's a peaceful protest. I just don't like the way the media is spinning that. Let's talk about this one lady. I forget who sent it to me. I don't know if it was Wayne. I don't know if it was Jonathan. But the one lady who ended up in the ER because her BOB, which is battery operated bathroom,
That was me.
malfunctioned, and it like burned her. It burned her shit.
I'm sorry, that's not funny.
Y'all, this woman got
Yes,
an
it is. That's
entire
burnt pussy.
husband,
That's
and she
burnt pussy.
said, "Burn." Who wants some filet? Who wants some filet? Punani,
Mignon,
a little
filet
filet
mignon,
mignon. All right, so who can
medium
read this?
rare.
Because I can't
She
see.
call that
I
shit black
can't
and
see the
catfish.
black and catfish. Oh my god.
Tilapia.
So look, here's the gist of the story, y'all. This young lady, her thing malfunctioned, right? So she ended up in the ER, and she said how embarrassing it was to have to explain to her husband and the doctors what had happened. And I'm thinking, did you not feel it heat up? Because let me tell y'all about these BOBs. You
Let's
can
run these questions first. We got to run
okay.
them questions down.
Run the
Because
questions first.
Battery
when
operated
we
best
first saw
friends.
this,
Yeah.
Cheryl, you and I both just had some questions
I
lined up.
did. Mine was literally what the fuck?
First thing, first,
What?
first thing I was sitting here thinking, yo, I was like, okay, I know yours was you didn't feel it getting warm. You didn't feel it
Yeah,
change
you didn't
change
feel it?
temperature.
You didn't feel that thing heat up? Like
My
what?
my next question is, did you buy that from Temu? Or did you get it from a real sex store or online sex store or an authorized website? You know, because
Did she
people
buy
will tell you some
used?
shit that'll short out real quick.
She definitely didn't buy it used. We are hell now. If you don't put it on your private parts, you ain't buying nothing used. That gotta be sealed in the
Next,
package.
look, they might have sold you something on Temu that actually vibrates,
So,
but it may not have been waterproof. Did you squirt on it? Did you squirt on it? If you squirted on it and it wasn't waterproof, you shocked yourself. That's what you
it
did.
tells you on the box whether it's water. Like you have to be the dumbest idiot ever to not know what you're putting on your body. So if it's battery operated, if it's waterproof, it's gonna tell you if it's waterproof. It's gonna give you all the descriptions of it. You don't even have to read it. You could swipe through the pictures, and you're gonna see a picture where it's gonna have water on it. Okay.
I hear
Where it's
you.
gonna have water on it. You could have just held on to it for a minute. Where it's gonna have like water on it. So you could just look at the pictures and it's gonna tell you what that device does. Now they have the roses, which everybody is familiar with that. And I know a lot of women who say they don't use it. I've never bought one because I just got reviews from my friends who said the vibration on that bitch is too strong.
My
So
next question was, how long was you using it?
that's what I want to know. Like, this is either that or like maybe the battery was going dead, so maybe the vibration and the heat wasn't strong. Either that or this girl. This is my theory. She uses it so much that the sensitivity in her area just not is not what it should be. Like
It's a dead
yeah,
kitty.
because you can toughen your shit by continuously using
Hey,
battery
but that,
operated machines.
I
So
ain't
when
gonna
you
lie
get a
to you.
real guy, you don't have the sensitivity down there because you've toughened your skin up.
Hey, that's absolutely just disturbing. And she was acting like that was embarrassing. I'm gonna tell you who was really embarrassed. The husband.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, hey, because this your woman. How we up in here with black and catfish, sir? And this is your woman.
Right? What are you
What
doing?
what what could you possibly have done to make this woman set her
Well,
own stuff on fire?
we know he wasn't making her orgasm because she was trying
Who's
real bad to
making
get.
love
Mm.
to your old
He was
lady?
trying real bad to catch a nut, so bad that she did not feel the heat down there burning her shit up. Like all I can imagine is it was feeling so good, she was busting nut, and she didn't realize that heat was really catching fire down there. Like that thing had blew up on her.
See, that's the bullshit right there. That's bullshit right there, right there, right there, right there.
I learned the hard way. Don't be putting all that shit on your cootie cat. Because when a guy come along, you want to be able to feel everything that he's doing to you. And if you constantly using something that vibrates your shit, you know, you're gonna fuck it up. And then the real guy come along and he's giving you the licky loo or whatever, and you're like, I don't feel it. You know what? Throw that shit out. Use your fingers. Use your natural self to get off. Or
Hey
go
man,
find you somebody. You don't have to be in a
hey,
relationship to go get one off. I'm pretty sure you can, go find somebody that you trust. And if
I
not,
will
I don't know
be
what to tell you. Just be celibate. I'm not burning my cat up with one of them damn things. That is ridiculous.
I will be honest with you. I have heard out of some women's mouth they are just that lazy. They don't even like doing the fingers.
Well,
They
it'll,
like
Well,
it'll keep it
someone to do
natural.
the
It'll
work
keep
for me,
your,
and
you know
I'm
what
gonna
I
do
mean?
it.
It keep your thing from getting desensitized. I don't want to desensitize. That's a very sensitive area. It's a
Well,
bunch
that
of
depends on what you're
cells
doing
down
to
there.
it. You can desensitize it with your hand too.
No, you
And
can't
if
use
you just
sensation.
flat out get to a point where you're abusing your cat, hey,
How
you
you
might have
how
you
would you
got some
abuse a
wiring
cat
going
with
just
a
crossed
finger?
up.
I mean, like, how would you abuse it with your finger? I'm confused.
Hey, because your finger is attached to a hand. I've seen women that hit it. They like to smack it and spank it and everything. What you
Um,
doing? Why you abusing it like
is
that?
that a porn? Because what woman is abusing her shit like that?
I'm dead
I'm
serious.
not. I like mine. I want mine to be nice and precious and supple, and I
Why
want to
you
be able to
hitting
feel
it like that?
everything. Nah, we ain't doing none of that. I wish a dude would come smack my shit. That's it. I'm putting all my clothes on. I'm finna get the fuck. Cause nigga, what? Why are
strumming
you
up the
abusing my
guitar,
creme de la creme? Like, why are you
strumming your
smacking my shit?
pain with your
I can see Cheryl
fingers.
right now. He smacked her.
Right? I'll be
He
so
smacked her, and Cheryl instantly
What
go
the
just.
fuck?
absolutely. What the
Oh Lord,
no?
so there we go.
Oh man, I will tell y'all this, and I know it's probably gonna be TMI. I'm not one of those who like abuse. I like really sensual love making. I like some roughness, but it has to go with the theme of what we're doing. It has to seamlessly fit in that shit. So if we getting it in, I had this one guy, we getting it in, and his missionary, and he raised up and smacked me on my face.
Mm.
And he thought that was cute. And my whole expression changed. I think his dick got sucked.
Well, okay.
Because I was looking up at him like, you just fucked up. I don't know what that was.
That part right there, that's when you you got me. Right there,
Dude, what?
that part right there. That's when
Who
you
Hey
had
told you
man,
me.
to do
Yeah.
that? It did not
hey,
go with the theme of what we was doing. It wasn't that much aggression going on. Like it was just and then all of a sudden you smacked me. Like, no. It was no.
hey,
You
what Kevin
fucked up
Hart
the
say?
spot.
Kevin Hart say, "You smacked me, bitch.
Right.
You smacked me, bitch."
Man, look, I went into survival mode. I was ready to fight.
Oh my God.
You hit me for? But yeah, she messed up. I wish we had more context to this because I really would like to know.
Listen, there is no excuse. Let's just be honest. Let's keep it all the way above. I think we need to start having more awareness about our sexuality, people.
Yes.
Okay. The shit is getting to the point where it's like drugs now. You know how you can get high off of one level of drugs, and then you get to a point where it's no longer a thrill for you. So what you
Right.
do? You go to the next thing. What they call that?
Chasing a high.
Yeah, you chasing the high. So honestly, and if you want me to keep it all the way above with you, I think that's why some men end up fucking other men.
Chasing a high.
Chasing the high because they've
You know
done
what?
Don't
It
get
once
that
you've
was
high.
done
Never gonna get
everything
that high. Sorry.
and you feel like, no, I ain't trying to get that high. Listen, that's like
well, I
cocaine.
mean, I get it.
I don't need to be that high.
And
What I need to be that high for?
well, here's the thing. Some people really do have sexual addictions.
They do.
Now, if you have someone who has a sexual addiction and they are chasing that high, now with those people, I could see them. They will literally probably, stick it in whatever they can stick it in because
Anything
again, they're
that's a whole.
chasing that high. Now, for other people who don't have a sex addiction and you're just sleeping with men under low, they may be just secretly bisexual and they don't want people to know it. You know.
So let me tell you this. So
Mhm.
I'm having this conversation with a brother online, right? And he's the same guy group we in, whatever. And we
Mhm.
talk, football, this, that, and then we got the women. And then he was like, "Yo, Jay, man, I think I'm gonna try a trans woman." I said, "Oh." I said, "Well, you go do that, player. It's
Right.
more power to you." I said, "But bro, don't tell me about it because I don't want to know. That's not my thing." I said,
Right.
"Well, I know, man, but I just want no.
Because a
We ain't
trans
talking
woman,
about
have appendages, most of them. Most trans women have not gotten rid of their appendages. They may
So
have
just say you
added
like dick,
breasts.
bro. Just say you like dick.
Yeah, just say it.
Just be real, dog. You know what I'm saying? Look, I said, look, man, you just need to be real about who you are. But I don't want to know no details. Don't tell me I ain't that. We cool. We ain't that cool.
Let's think about it though. Remember the circus days? We had the bearded lady. The bearded lady was a very, very popular attraction. And you have some men who are really, really into bearded ladies. They may not say it out loud that they're into the bearded lady, but it's a lot of men who are really into bearded ladies, or they're into trans women who look everything like a woman except they have an appendage down there. This is not for everybody. This is if you're a regular cisgender heterosexual dude and you like women and you like women, this ain't the conversation for you. But I know
That's
for
why I told him
sure
I don't want
it's
to
a
talk about
lot
that.
of down low guys who prefer or they will get with a man just as well as a woman. But they don't want you to know that other side, you know? We done lost Wayne completely.
wait,
You,
wait,
you
wait a
had
second.
said that this wasn't a conversation for us. So, I was,
Well, y'all know what I'm saying. But they could be chasing a high, or that could be part of their sexuality, and that's a conversation for another day. So we ain't gonna touch on it too
Mhm.
much. It's a conversation for another day.
hey, but seriously,
So,
we do
so
need
next thing
to.
you're gonna tell us is sexuality is fluid. Is that what you're gonna tell us?
Yeah, it pretty much fucking is.
But I will say this though, like we do need to have a serious conversation, sit down conversation with our partner or partners or whatever, and we need to come to a reality check, like for a
Yeah.
realization of what the hell we got going on. Like,
Hmm.
what exactly are you trying to accomplish sexually?
Right.
You feel me? Like, are you in this for the intimacy, or are you chasing a certain high? You just want to experience different things. You want to go to the unknown, the great unknown, or whatever. Like, you know what my stop is, so I know when to get out. I, I'm telling you, as that man, as a husband of a woman with a burnt, but I don't even know what you gonna
Where do
tell.
you go from there? Like, how do you sit down and have this conversation? Like, because clearly she was not being satisfied by
She's gonna be
her.
like, we gonna have to start ordering some electronic things and devices.
Oh, wait
We
a
gonna
minute.
have
She
to-
got a healing process
She probably want to
Oh,
go
she
first.
some
ain't finna do
shop
nothing
stuff.
for 4 to 6
Yeah,
weeks. She about to
you
be
know what I'm saying?
healing.
And
So
then,
when she come off of that, she gonna be a demon.
look, she might not have it much, depending on how much
Might
damage
have
was
fucked the
done. To that,
sensation up.
there you
She might
go.
have fucked up clitoris up. Like, I ain't even
Might
lying.
have. Damn. Hey, damn. That's like a man
Mm-hmm.
losing his dick, bro. You cannot
Right.
lose. Woo.
Mm-hmm.
Because I call mine a
Woo.
little man head because that is the center of our sensitivity and sexuality. And let me
It's
tell
a
you,
bunch of
I'm not
nerves there.
trying. It's very, very sensitive. It's a very, very sensitive area.
You
I
know,
ain't
I feel
trying to.
sorry for her
Why you feel sorry for her?
I
because
do.
I think about if if my buddy got electrically shocked and caught on fire, I'd be hurt
I'm still trying to
spiritually,
figure out how fucking tough was her coochie. She had a tough ass
spiritually,
coochie for her
physically,
not to
emotionally, and spiritually.
recognize. Think about that. How tough her shit had to be for it to be burned before she
To the
recognized that
max,
it was burned. How,
burnt to the max.
how
But I'm
tough
sorry.
is
Ain't
that
no
shit?
nut worth chasing. Like when you get to a
Hell
point where you realize
no.
it is getting hot down here. I smell burning flesh.
Like, what do you like look down and like, what do you be like, why is it burning? Like,
Well,
let me tell you something. Some of those vibrators, the vibrations are like way too high. So you know when they go to you already be like, God dang, it feels like a hammer. Let me kind of move it out the way.
The rose
You
has
know?
a suction on it, and depending on which one, it might have a flicker tongue or something like that. But still,
she was chasing that. It was about. She's like, I just need a moment. I need a whoa.
Yeah, it must have been
Electric.
something like that. That's the only thing I could figure is that it was malfunctioning as she was orgasming. And then, of course, you know, when you're orgasming, you know how it is when it's coming, and you like, what? So I can see in that sense that maybe during that high end, when you're at the highest point, and then like
Mhm.
maybe it was, I don't know. I'm trying to give her an
She
out.
was almost coming and going at the same time.
Right. She
Y'all,
was.
yeah,
She
y'all.
almost did. I hope her. Look, I just hope it heals up nice and that her clitoris works fine and that she can use that shit with her husband later. We may see them on divorce court in 6 months to a year. Who knows? We shall see.
Hey, all I gotta say to you, Shawty, you, yes, you, that's in the house. Matter of fact, you come on back here. You, yes, you, right here.
Mhm.
This is my message to you.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There's no wonder you get D's and everything.
I got nothing for you. That was just a lack of intelligence.
Yeah, that was a dumb move. Thousand ways to
Strum,
ruin your creme de la creme. That's one of the
yep.
ways. That's one of the ways. So yeah,
She
what else?
smelled
What else we
baby.
had to talk about tonight?
She
We
smelled
had
baby.
Strumming it, look, strumming this thing with her fingers.
she needs to go back
Oh,
to using her fingers.
oh,
This natural. It's a natural part of your body. I'm just saying. Plus, what in the world is going on where you feel like you need to be masturbating like every night, or you need to bust a nut like every single solitary night?
I'm not listen. I ain't gonna even knock a every night person. All right, some people could
stress.
be
Some
those and
stress
some
can get
people
you like
hormones.
that.
Okay, I guess.
They use it for different remedies. You know what I'm saying? It can
Okay,
relieve headaches. It can relieve stress. It could be a day sleeping pill. We never know.
it could be. Yeah,
But it sounded like this wasn't just an every night thing. This
yeah, I
lady
know.
sounded like she was Netflixing and flicking.
Wait a
Netflix.
minute.
She was Netflix and flicking.
Or was she on OnlyFans and just got
I don't know
She
about
was
that.
something going on, but let me tell you, if you like the sensation on your cat that much, maybe you need a woman and not a man.
And
It just wasn't
that
doing the
Rose was
thing.
still there. Like, are you still there? Are you still, like you want to burn up?
I don't know. Either that or teach
hello?
him what you want. Like you said, Jonathan, maybe
Let's
she should
see.
introduce toys in the bedroom with her husband because maybe she ain't getting off. Because I'm
Hmm.
telling you, that's my biggest disappointment. I was married for a long ass time. And let me tell you something. I'm going to get mine.
Now here's the thing
And
though.
I ain't
So
going to
I know
I don't
Cheryl,
have to
you
do it
said
by
something like
myself.
maybe he was a truck driver and this. And here's the thing: if
Yeah.
he was a truck driver, he wouldn't have been at that hospital with her.
Yeah, he was at the hospital.
He was there
Mhm.
at the hospital with her, which means he was present in the home when this
Maybe
happened.
he just didn't know how. I have had a friend guy who is now divorced. They were married for 20 something years and they divorced. And he told me the only time that he would ever give his wife cunnilingus is when it was a birthday or a Christmas. And that's the only time she would fellatio him.
Mm.
And
So how many times
then
did they
he
cheat on each other?
that's the reason for the divorce because she found some dude and she had him named Big D in her phone and Big D was putting it down and it was a whole video circulating
Um,
and he didn't know that the video was circulating because one of my other friends told me about the video, baby. And Big D was doing more. He was licking and sticking and everything. So
Licking and
all
sticking
I
is
say is
good.
this, and I'm male, female, I don't care. I've had this conversation before on my show, on my own podcast, and
mhm,
I will stand on business with this. If you are in a relationship and you are not giving your partner pleasure orally,
right.
you are being cheated on.
Yeah, you are
I
the
do not
problem.
care what you think. I promise you.
I
If you
promise.
fellas, if you ain't doing your thing, and ladies, if
Mhm.
you ain't having that thing in the back of your throat getting touched,
I'm telling
uh,
you, you get
there
cheated
is
on.
somebody else in their life who does.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
I
are
stick
not
by
being
that.
faithful to you. Because I'm sorry, once you've experienced it,
You ain't gonna just go back to not. Like you ain't gonna be like, yeah, nah,
I'm
I'm
gonna be
good.
with you forever,
I'm gonna wait
and
till
I'm gonna
next
be
year. I'm gonna wait till
like,
my birthday next year to get some head. No, somebody is doing it for him, sis. And that's why he ain't asking you no more. Or that's why she ain't asking you no more.
what Lil Wayne say, got an early
Head
call.
doctor.
Keisha wanted me to meet her.
Speaking of Little Wayne, they are man. Lil Wayne has become a meme. He
Next
just
topic.
dropped we're gonna talk about this. We've been talking about this
No,
for
I'm gonna
forever.
light this shit on fire. I'm telling
Listen,
you,
listen. The Carter Six. I watched a little
this is
bit
my
of a
warning,
review.
everybody. I did not do this. I didn't do this.
The Carter Six.
She's
I
been
Okay,
giving
tried
up.
to do this.
She's given up a couple of records ago
he
because
should have. He should have. I've only heard one song, and then I saw a meme. Somebody drew Little Wayne, and all the young people say he sound like he growling. He just revving up an engine at
What
this point.
song did you hear?
It was the elephant. What was the name of that fucking
Penis
song?
to the elephant. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's my thing on when it comes to the Carter Six.
Mm-hmm.
It never should have been called the Carter Six. If you
Okay.
know anything about Wayne's discography, There is I Am Not a Human Being. There's I Am Not a Human Being 2. And he should have named this I Am Not a Human Being 3. And it would have probably flowed with that series because those albums really have no direction. They have no genre really because it's a combination of rock, rap. He does sing. You know, like it would have perfectly fit. But when we think the Carter, we think an ode to hip hop. We think,
we're about to come with some bars. Like, come on, give us some
you know.
Yeah.
And it's not that Wayne doesn't have bars. Here's my problem. And fellas, I hope y'all are paying attention because here's your lesson as a man tonight. This is Woe's teaching as a man. Okay. Let me get y'all mind if I have a moment? Just
go ahead. Okay. Put the spotlight on you.
Okay, let me
center stage.
So, fellas, here's the deal. In life, you are supposed to grow. You are supposed to evolve as a man, as a person. Okay. What you talked about at the age of 25, your experiences at the age of 25 should not be the same thing that you talk about and should not be the same experiences you have at 40 plus. If you listen to the Carter 6, it sounds like the Carter 3. The Carter 3 came out in 2008 when Wayne was 26 years old.
Dang.
Wayne will be 43 in September. Why does 43-year-old Wayne sound like 26-year-old Wayne? Because he's not doing anything else with his life. He talks about 3 things. Well, now 4. Pussy, money, weed. And now you can upgrade that to coke because he's not hiding that anymore. That is in his music. It ain't just something he gets for his girls. It is a part of who Lil Wayne is. Oh, and shrooms too. But other than that, Lil Wayne has nothing else to talk about.
Damn.
And it's sad because you can hear him when he spits his bars. The wordplay is there. It's beautiful. But what else is there? When you think about rappers, I can tell you rappers right now who I listen to at an early stage and their music and themselves, they evolved. T.I. is one of them. Jeezy is another. Scarface. Ice Cube. So I mean, should I keep going? Nas.
LL Cool J.
The LL Cool J. What they started out rapping about is not the same thing that they rap about today. And that's where Lil Wayne loses me. And I'm pretty sure he's losing everybody in the 40 plus crowd who's listened to him since he was a teenager.
20. Yeah, since he was 14 or whatever it was.
You know what I'm saying? What he talked about as a hot boy before he even dropped an album wasn't the same by the time he got to the Carter. He evolved. That's what we loved about the Carter. It was evolution of him.
I think he thought the wordplay would carry him, but if there's no substance in it, it's not going to carry him.
So the Peanut song that you mentioned, here's the significance of that song. If you go and look up the credit for who produced it, you heard the play Hamilton?
Yeah.
The person who produced the music for the Hamilton play is the person who produced that track.
Wait a minute. What's his name? I love him too.
I can't think of his
Emmanuel. Lemuel something.
Lin-Manuel, something like that.
Lin-Manuel, that's it. Lin-Manuel.
He's the one who produced that track. So it seems significant in your creative headspace. That's dope. However, when it's the Carter, this isn't the time to experiment.
I mean, and Lin-Manuel is an amazing composer and writer. Don't get me wrong. He's written music and plays and film. Like he's the shit. He can rap too. Go watch Hamilton. But yeah, I think it should have been named something else.
There's a time and a place for all of that. And this wasn't
that's
the place.
how they'll spill on Lil Wayne. I didn't want to get too far into that, but it just kind of fit. It just fit right in that moment. All right.
Fellas, evolve, grow. That's my grow.
Grow up.
Not be the same man today that you were 10 years ago. If you are, you need to do some self-evaluation. Something ain't right.
Or he need to retire. There's nothing wrong with that either. You can pull a Rihanna. Now Rihanna done evolved in ways that
that's he said on the thing. He has no consideration whatsoever of retiring. He did a song with his son, Cameron. who doesn't even sound like his voice is even dropped yet. His camera's that young. And what
Oh,
did he rap about on that song?
don't tell me you
Pussy,
rapped about pussy and
money,
girls and hoes and
weed.
money.
Yes, he did.
Okay. All right. Well,
Mm.
I don't know. Anyway, it is
Clearly
mental.
not a father figure.
Clearly not. It is
Clearly not.
men's mental health month. Men's mental health month. That's almost a mouthful. It's
Well,
also
that ties into
LGBTQ
that too.
plus month. It's Pride Month as well. But I really want to focus on men's mental health because it's enough podcasts and enough people in the LGBT community to talk about pride. I'm not talking about pride here, but I do want to talk about men's mental health because men represent some of the higher suicide rates in America. You know, and I know we see a lot about red pill and blue pill and men versus women, and there's a loneliness epidemic and there's not a loneliness epidemic, and men are this and men are that. And I know for sure that Black men never get the space to breathe. They never get the space to exhale. And I just actually put on I emailed I didn't email it, I sent it to you all on IG, and it's this guy, I think his name is I forget his name, but he was saying how the Black man really does not get the space to breathe. He doesn't get the space to breathe or to exhale. Like you're expected to be the providers. And even from a young boy, even from little boys, you don't really get to develop emotionally the way I think, especially Black boys need to, because we already stifle them as little boys, you know. And I understand we got to get them ready for this world. But I have a 6-year-old grandson and he's learning now, like he skates, he's a gymnast, and when he falls he has learned to swallow that shit quick. He is 6 and he's taking some tumbles because he's doing gymnastics. Y'all know how tough that shit is. This boy is tumbling and flipping and doing bars and learning to balance beams, and he is falling a lot. He gets a lot of bruises and he's learning to suck it up. I just found out the baby dropped a brick or something on his toe. He was in my bed with me yesterday and I looked at his foot. Now it's healing, but it's split right across the middle. And I said, Jordan, what happened to your toe? He said he was carrying some kind of heavy toy and it dropped on his foot and it split his toe. I said, oh my God. He said, oh, it's okay, honey. It's better now. He was was at over here not too long ago. He had a bruise on his head. And I said, what happened? He said, I was helping mom and them move your stuff. And the metal bed frame hit his head. And I said, what your mama do? He said, she told me to shut up. Come on, let's go. Little boys, y'all don't get to express that. And it breaks
So
my
whatever
heart for
confused
Jordan.
us, if for real, when
Hmm.
you ask what your mama do, most
Hmm.
Black boys, huh? What you mean? What she do?
Hmm. He
Because
said she told him, go
nothing's
keep
supposed
going.
to be done. Like the
Right.
way we probably, I can't speak for Jay how I know the way I grew up and a lot of Black boys around me. Nothing was supposed to be done. If you ain't dying or
Right.
concussed or something like, which even then we didn't really know the full perspective of what concussions really were. But unless you have like a serious medical condition, what exactly you want?
Yeah, she
Listen,
told him, yeah, he
if
told
you
him to
ain't
get up and
bleeding,
keep
you all right.
going. Yeah, if you ain't bleeding, you all right. And that's kind of
Yeah,
how he
no,
Put a
you
little
ain't.
dirt on
expressed.
it, you'll be okay.
And now he
That's the biggest thing
said,
when it comes to athletics. They say
yeah. Mhm.
the difference between staying on the field or on the court or whatever you playing. They say, are you sick? No, so are you hurt or are you injured?
Mhm.
There's a difference. If you can't walk on it, if it's broken, if it's it's something that you physically cannot move anymore or have no control over, you're injured.
Mhm.
You cannot play. That is the only excuse you
But
have
you can play
not
hurt.
to. But
You
if
can play
if
hurt.
it's a
Mhm.
sprain
A
or it
broken
might be
finger.
stiff, but you don't have the complete, but you can still stand and jog on it, and you can play. That you're just hurt. You be all right.
But here, they don't
He'll
even
heal.
consider the emotional ramifications of that because now you got to suppress what you're feeling. And a lot of Black men, as boys growing up, you learn to suppress. You don't really learn how to
It's shift.
really
It's not just necessarily support.
transmute it, transmute what you're feeling. It's just like shit, stuff that shit down and keep going because you're expected to keep going because you're
It's
the
a
man.
different perspective of that. It's not just necessarily stuffing it down. They flip it. It's
Mhm.
manipulation.
I
They
don't like
flip
that.
it and try to make you feel guilty if you leave your teammates hanging.
But
And
you
that's where
shouldn't feel guilty.
you get manipulated into going, I don't want to let my boys, I don't want to let my folk down. And you feel more bad for them than you do for yourself actually being injured.
I wish we
You're
could
carted
change
off,
that
off the
narrative though,
field.
because look at the state of black men and black women, because we were not able to emotionally develop in the same rate that we were physically, and we
Mhm.
weren't given the space. As a black woman, I broke my leg and didn't cry. It's very few times in my life as an adult that I have cried. Yeah, the bone was sticking out the skin and my ankle was mangled. I did not fucking cry. I can't tell you how pain it was. So painful. I can't sleep right now thinking about it. And it's been other times in life where I feel like that's been the thing. Like, oh no, suck it up, buttercup. You got to be tough. You got to just keep
Mhm.
going because it's you and there's nobody coming to rescue you and you got to save you. And that's a trauma response from me. I'm hyper independent as a woman, hyper independent. I'm like, oh, it's just, and I hate it because mentally wise, I just got, praise God, I just got on Medicaid. Y'all know I'm about to use this for everything: Medicaid, glasses,
Mhm.
dentist, whatever I got to get, because I need therapy. And I need more than just coloring book therapy and journaling therapy. In my
Right.
podcast, I love, because this is kind of how I get things out, and get it off my chest. But I need therapy. I need to talk to somebody and unpack some shit. Because I was thinking about all the pain that I have endured, not just in this injury, but dealing with my daughter, with my divorce, with being cheated on, with building a whole life with someone, putting money into a house, putting money into investing into this thing for my ex to decide to put another person in that space after I had worked so hard to build that up. Like dealing with that kind of stuff, unpacking that shit. And I feel
Mhm.
like our men need that too. Because I don't know what was going on through his head or whatever, but I feel like our black men need that, especially when it comes to people. Like, we had a good friend who passed, I think it's been a year or so ago now.
Yeah, it'll
And
be
I
two
think about him all.
years the end of
It's
next
been 2 years,
2 years the end of next month.
and I just never saw it coming. And when I tell you, a tough guy, a strong guy, I have gone to his house, I've hung out, I've poured my heart out to him. We've had crawfish boils together, and he would cook for us, and just one of those people that you did. When I tell you, didn't see it coming, because he's so strong outwardly.
That
That's
was
the
my ally.
appearance that he carried. You
That
know,
was my ally.
and I felt so safe with him at work, at his house. He was a stand-up guy. And when I tell you genuine love, you could feel it. Could feel it coming off of him. And he took his own life. We have got to start giving ourselves and our people in our lives and that we love space to come to us without judgment and say, hey, I'm having this problem and I need to talk to somebody about it. You know, and let them come to us and do that without them feeling like I can't talk to anybody, because all you're gonna do is go run and gossip, or you're gonna judge me, or you're gonna drag me,
Mhm.
and now I got to go back out into the community and face this. And I've done that before too, in the church community. Reach out to somebody about what's going on, and then you get dragged because you're being judged
Mhm.
for what you're going through. And
Mhm.
I don't have
Just
no
put
sympathy for the church. People tell me all the time, you should go back to church. I'm not going to go back to a place to heal in a place where I was hurt. Well, I was hurt. I was hurt in the church. Don't ask me to go heal in a place that caused me hurt and pain. I will not. I
not
refuse.
only that, how can you heal somewhere when nobody really cared to apologize to
No.
right the wrong that was done to you? How am I supposed to heal somewhere
That's
where
like this country for black people.
I
Right.
was flat
We've
out
never.
betrayed,
Mhm.
but you want me to come and heal here now, even
Mhm.
though
Right.
nobody wants to acknowledge the betrayal that was done to me?
Right. And it was a lot of betrayal. And I hate that, because even in the divorce, like, a lot of people sided
Mhm.
with my ex. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know the totality of what we had been through. Even when I got pregnant at 16, and my ex at the time was 23. Put that shit together. I was held fully responsible and accountable. He did not have to be accountable for that. No one dragged him for that. He wasn't shamed for that. I was shamed for that. And it carried from my mother and father's church on over into the church that we ended up in. So things that I need to talk out. Like I said, it's a lot of shit to unpack. It's a lot of shit to unpack. Now, I'm not bitter or upset, but it's like things that you think about that, okay, I'm just flowing with life. And before you got on, Jonathan, I think I was saying, even with the obstacles that come, what we do, we're going to jump over them bitches. We're going to hurdle through them. We're going to tunnel through them. We're going to go around them. We're
Mhm.
going to keep moving. And that's my motto for life. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep a positive attitude. I'm a walk in love. I'm going to vibe on that frequency. But it's a whole lot of shit that I need to unpack.
I do want to ask you a question. I know this is supposed to be Men's Health Month, but listening to you talk, I want to ask you one question and give me your raw, honest answer.
Okay.
Do you think that you mentally can relate to the soft girl era? Like, is that something that you think that you? I know you probably haven't even experienced that since the divorce, but I know even we talked previously during the whole process building up to the divorce. You, like you said, you hyper independent. So
Honestly, I cannot relate with the soft girl era.
I knew it.
I have not been in a position to be soft. Even when I was married all those years, even in that, I was not allowed to really be a soft girl. As a leader in a church, where do you have time as the first lady to be soft, to let your emotions show without somebody trying to gobble you the fuck up?
I think that's a problem in itself. Why would anybody be trying to gobble you up?
Oh man, there's some evil people in church.
And that's
Oh, the
why
envy, the
that's why
envy
I
is
feel.
real. The envy is real. Oh man,
If,
they
if
was
only
there on
they
me
knew
for
the real pressure that
everything, and it
comes
was
with
like
leadership.
living in a glass bowl. It felt like living in a fish bowl. Okay. So people who love you love you. People who saw your genuine heart and saw that you were trying to do your best every day, but then you had those who picked it apart. Um, I'll never forget, we had a couple that used to come preach from Mississippi at our church. And one of the sisters told the first lady of that church that me and my ex-husband weren't even married. And this was like, I don't know, I guess back in like 2012 or some shit. And I was like, not even married. Like, why would we be in front of God's people and not be married legally? Like, why would we do this? Why would we not be following the Bible and laws? So my ex felt it necessary to pull out our marriage certificates to show these people that we were indeed married. And I'm to the lady, I'm like, why would you even believe that rumor? Why would you call me with this rumor? I was more pissed at her for believing the lie.
That part.
And then she said, well, that's why I'm calling you to confirm. So you believe the lie.
You ain't gotta confirm if
You
you
ain't
know.
got to call me and confirm shit. Why are you believing rumors, gossip? Isn't that against what God tells us to do?
You know what? If they were really that concerned, they could have actually, marriage certificates, marriage licenses are public.
They could have looked it up. She didn't
That's
have to
in a
call me.
that's in the public domain.
Right. It's in the public domain. You could call me,
So,
lady. And it's just things like that. I remember that lady even
mhm.
went to the point of when her husband came to preach, she would sit opposite me. She wouldn't even sit by me on the first lady's row. She made it a point to sit opposite me. You know, it's like little things like that. And that was constant. That was all the time. And don't let's add to the fact that I was young, I was pretty, I was petite, and I was with all these old ass ladies whose bodies was gone. Let's go and say it. There's some envy there. It was definitely some envy there. And they used to always nitpick little things, right? Like what I'm wearing. And if I don't wear a lot of makeup, I don't have on a lot of makeup right now. But they would even criticize that. My hair used to be naturally long. Like I cut that shit off. But every little thing was a problem. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sick of this. Like everything. So I finally got to the point where I learned how to have the best poker face, how to handle everybody with the same genuine kindness, whether I liked them or not. It didn't matter what they said to me. I always came across very professionally. And Wayne can vouch for this because he worked with me. And my demeanor at work was a lot of what I learned in church. How to keep that poker face, no matter what someone says to you or how they try to rattle you. I always had a response. Always, always. And that's part of that hyper independence. You know, I don't know what the fuck a soft girl era is. I haven't had the opportunity to be in a relationship where I can be that person, you know? So,
See, like a reason I even asked, so like I have people in my life, and I ain't even gotta say who they are. They know who they are. You know, I have my wife, and then I have other women in my life who I am their safe space. Um, who have gone through great deals and had to carry great loads. And when they come to visit me, I make it my business to where even if it is just for the weekend, this your soft girl space.
mhm,
Here, you don't have to worry about protection. Here, you don't have to worry about doing little things to manage your vehicle and this and this and that. I'll go get your car, your gas before you get on the highway. You know, I'll go get you some new wipers or whatever else you need just to make sure your car is things you should not have to, you know, that's what I do for the women in my life. And when it actually hurts, it's okay to say it hurts.
Right.
I got you. Come in. Like, this is just our space. And whatever it is that's on you, that's weighing on you, give it to me. And you, that way you can get a good night's sleep without dealing with shit like that. So
Well,
I
I have
know,
that now. Praise God and y'all. And I have another guy, Drew. I have to shout out Drew Moses in Bogalusa. Most
What
definitely
up, Uncle
have.
Drew?
Yeah, y'all hold me down for real, like a lot. So thank you. It's comforting to know that I have someone say, "Hey, what do you need?"
but
Or y'all
that's
call
the
say, "What do you
crazy part.
need?" Yeah, you know.
Not knowing what that is. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like, I don't think be strong. I love your strength. I love your independence. But you still, I don't think it's just mentally, because as a man speaking who has been programmed to be that way,
Mhm.
it ain't good to be that way all the time.
No.
It's not good to be. I have this thing. So I know I battling. I have not been officially diagnosed, but
Mhm.
I've had very, detailed bouts.
Mhm.
I know I deal with anxiety, but I also have this thing that I can do where I can shift my emotions,
Mhm.
and I can shift it to a point where I don't want to feel something. I can numb myself, and because I get tired of dealing with pain,
Mhm.
I'll just say I'll turn it off. Problem with that is, fellas, listen to me. Now you can't feel shit with the people who are in your household. Where your children probably need you to show empathy when they're going through something, you can't, because you can't feel shit. Your wife might have
No.
had a rough day, and she
Mhm.
might need you to empathize with her or be her sounding board, and she might need you to be supportive, and you can't because you turn that off. And the problem with that also is it's not easy to turn back on.
And
I
I've
have to
learned that's a type of
fight to get it
depression,
back.
Wayne. Did you know that? When you numb it like that, it's a type of depression.
I've had a couple bouts with
Mhm.
it. Um,
Yeah. Numbness. That's a symptom of depression.
it's it's a it's a scary thing to go to when you realize how deep you are.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people call me and crying and just needed to talk and this and I can't connect.
Mm-hmm.
I literally have nothing to give. I don't try even listening to you talk about it is like I don't want it. My mind is rejecting it.
Mm-hmm. You can't
It's
take
too
it. I
big of
mean,
a weight. I don't want it. Um, and as much as I may want to be there for you, I've checked out. Like I'm
right.
numb. I can't feel. And when I finally realize it, then it's scary
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know how to get back to it. So like I've had to do a lot of work individually, and I've always said I'm going to take the time to deal with myself, but I've had to focus on my children's mental health and other
Absolutely.
things. And so like I can talk it, I can preach it, but I got to live it. So I am going to sit down eventually and get some things situated in my life. But that's also, like you said, what the podcast world has done for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's really where things got started with IMO podcast because of what I was going through mentally.
Right.
And I created a space where I didn't know people were listening like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that what I was going through mentally, other people could relate.
Right.
And eventually it just started building from there. But I want to make it known to any and everybody on here, male, female. I know it's men's health, mental health month, but we take this shit seriously. We don't care if
Yeah.
you men, women, whatever. Do the work. It's time to stop running from the pain. It's time to stop running from the pressures. Time to stop caving into the anxiety. Like let's start talking these things out. It's good to have some friends, but they're
Mhm.
not licensed therapists and they can't necessarily always tell you
Right.
what you need to hear. They'll tell you what you want to hear. They may not tell you what you need to hear. And you might not be equipped to hear what needs to be heard.
Right.
That's what your therapist can do. They have the tools that you need. So,
Very
and
true.
and also in regards to our friend that we lost a couple years ago,
Mhm.
there's a suicide line.
I'm gonna give it in a minute too. When you
Yeah.
finish talking, I'll give it out, and we'll put it in the description box below because my battery's going dead, so I'm gonna have to give it out quick before my phone cut out on y'all. Y'all gonna have to carry the show without me. But
No, no.
these resources, they do have a crisis lifeline. It's 988. If you text it, it's literally text 988, text help to 988, or you can dial the 1-800 number. We're gonna have it available in the description box below, but you can reach out to the crisis lifeline if you need to talk to anybody,
Mhm.
and they can put you in touch with mental health therapists too. Also, we
That's important
have,
to know.
that's very important to know. That's like the quickest
Mhm.
thing I can think of is 988.
Mhm.
Mhm.
If you do need to
Mhm.
talk to somebody quickly. Also, we have the NIMH, and that's the National Institute of Mental Health. We also have Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. It's so many different ones. If you go to hims.com or hers.com, they do
Mhm.
have an entire page listed of mental health resources for you. I know hims and hers.com, they sell like health, physical health, like for your physical health too, but they have a lot of resources on there
They do.
for mental health as well. So
Yeah.
hims.com, that's HIMS.com or HERS.com. I'll have those in the description box below. We really got to start working on our mental health. It is Men's Mental Health Month. Fellas, work on yourselves. But us females need to work on ourselves too. I know I got a lot of stuff to unpack. I would love one day to be in a
Mhm.
partnership. I'm not going to necessarily call it a marriage because I don't know if I want to do traditional marriage again. But I would like to have like a
Mhm.
partnership, someone, that that's for me and I'm for them. But I want to be my
Mhm.
best, healthy, mentally, physically self for whoever that person.
Mhm.
Because I don't want
Sounds
to go
great.
in with all this baggage, not being able to be soft and feminine when I want to be that with my
That.
person, you know, and
Mhm.
and for them to feel like they can be in their masculine energy with me. I don't want to go in there like, not in the bedroom setting. It all depends. Y'all know how the energy in the bedroom, girls, so it kind of, that's like some ebb and flow shit right there. But I'm looking for that person too. Where's my yin, the yin to my yang? And
Mhm.
so we can have that connection. So yeah.
Mhm.
That's me. I think everybody needs to start doing that. It was a meme I sent out to y'all called accountability. I just sent it today in IG. Ever since I started taking accountability, I realized I ain't shit.
Hey,
I think if a lot of us
Yeah.
did that, we'd realize we might be the problem.
That part
that
is
part.
That part.
yeah.
You
I don't
be
want to
so.
tell people
I'm
that so
telling you.
bad. You up here screaming
The,
in my face. Maybe you the problem. Maybe it's you. Maybe you the
the,
problem.
the, the, the amount of people who refuse to look at themselves first is
Who's the common denominator?
Mm-hmm. It's
that's all I'm
you.
saying.
If you bouncing
Mhm.
from relationship to relationship to relationship, you the problem.
I saw a young girl. She was being interviewed by a guy. It was a little street interview, whatever. And he said, "Wait, how many kids you got?" She said 3.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "But how many baby daddies you got?" She dropped her head.
3.
Oh, dang.
At some point in time,
She
and
might be the
the
problem.
girl looked like she was around 25.
Damn.
At
You
some point
might
in
be.
time, I don't want. He said, "I don't want to hear you say men ain't shit." Where the good
Not
men
one
at?
time.
He said, "Clearly you ain't looking for the good men."
That's how the commercial started. The woman was like, I used to ask all the time, where the good men at? And then I started taking accountability. And she held up a bottle. And then I learned that I ain't shit.
But I'm like, think about that. You make the same mistake 3 times,
Yeah, some make it 4, 5, and 6 times. I don't get it. I
but
don't
the
get it.
same mistake is no longer a mistake. That's called a
Yeah,
bad
it's a
decision.
choice. It's a bad decision. You
Mhm.
know, I'm gonna tell you this story, and I heard it from a TV show I watched on Netflix. It was about this assassin, and at the end, he found the lady who was trying to have him killed, and she told him a story about a bear and a hunter. And the hunter was trying to kill the bear. And the first time he saw the bear, he had the bear lined up in his shots, and he fired. He missed the bear, and when he turned around, the bear was behind him, and the bear says to him, "Okay, you missed. My turn." And he said, "My payment is I get to kill." So the bear, does his thing with the hunter.
Hunter.
And the hunter gets mad and he leaves and he comes back and he feels like he's mad because he's been violated. So he's gonna come back and he's gonna kill that fucking bear. He's gonna kill the bear. So he comes back He's going to shoot it again, right? He's going to line it up. Got the bear in his sights. He goes to shoot the bear. He misses. The bear turns around and he's behind him again. He said, "You know the price you got to pay for this." Third time it happened, the bear said, "At this point, it's a choice."
The bear said, "You're not in this for the hunting, are you?
Look, you like it.
You're not in this for the hunting, are you?"
You like it now. Now this is the crazy part. We do that in real life, do we not? Sometimes we repeat these patterns we don't want to repeat. Women who have multiple babies by different men, subconsciously that's happening. Consciously, she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to be in that. But we have to learn how to get our mental state under control. So subconsciously, we're aligned consciously, so we don't keep doing the same fucked up shit we keep doing. It stems back to childhood and where we felt like we were lacking at. And most women try to find that missing piece in men. And they go
You know what?
around just plugging into all these
You're right.
different energies, trying to fill those missing voids. Baby, stop. Stop it. Your energy is sacred. You birth
Can I add,
babies into the world. Please stop giving it up to everybody.
let
That's
me
the
add
lesson I
something to that.
learned. Uh-huh.
I want to add to something to that. So it was a seminar I went to. It was a few years ago, but the person said that for the unhealed person, even if you're put into a new environment, what you're doing is you're creating auditions for people to fill those roles of the people that you left.
That's right. 'Cause
So
you're
you
unhealed.
audition people to fill those roles because you're unhealed,
Mhm.
right? And until you heal completely and dismiss those roles that are unhealthy, so you won't be auditioning other people in new situations to
Right.
fill those old roles.
It's kind of like this, and here's the.
Mhm.
It's like you walk into a room with muddy shoes on, and everywhere you walk, you leave muddy footprints. And you look, turn around, and you look, and I'm sick of this room. Look how nasty, how filthy it is. It's mud everywhere. And rather than clean up the mud, you say, I'm gonna go into another room that's clean.
Yes.
And you take them same muddy shoes into a whole nother area. And then you, after walking around, sometimes you turn around, look, this room is nasty too and filthy. After you go to a third room with them same muddy shoes on, at some point, when is it going to register with you?
You
Hey,
the problem.
take the shoes off.
Take the
Mhm.
You the one
goddamn
attracting the
shoes
dirty.
off
It ain't the fact that the room is dirty. How did it get dirty?
Right.
It's
and
you.
go back and clean up your mess.
Then secondly,
Accountability,
like you said,
y'all.
that part, go back and clean your shit up.
I ain't shit.
Right? Accountability. I had to start taking accountability. Oh my goodness. It's true. We gotta do that. Because if not, I saw a quote somewhere. It says, go and heal. So you can stop being so you can stop filtering what I'm trying to say to you through your hurt. Because a lot of times that's what we do, right?
That
Somebody hurt
part.
us in the past, and now we're talking
Mhm.
to somebody new, and they say something that triggers us. We're filtering what they said through our hurt. And they
Mhm.
may not have even meant it that way, but because we're
Mhm.
still healing from whatever, or maybe we ain't even begun to heal, we still just carrying the shit, right?
Mhm.
And it's one relationship to the other ones. I follow all those different "Are we dating the same guy" apps.
Mhm.
And one thing I have learned about "Are we dating the same guy" is this very thing. Women will put the men that they just started talking to. Now, man, they ain't in no committed relationship. They just met this person on Hinge or whatever. And they gonna put it in the group and say, "Hey, any information on this guy before I start talking to him?" Bitch, you ain't even talking to him yet. And people lie in this group chat all the time. They
Thank you.
trying to
That
find
part. That's
out
what I
if
was
they
gonna say about
got,
that. Good chats
Mhm.
yeah,
like that is dangerous because
it's
people be
Yep.
lying.
dangerous.
They should be
Folks like
lying on
attention.
folks. You know,
They be lying.
I said something to Wayne before, and
Mhm,
it was about a particular woman, right? She was
mhm,
living out of a hotel, and she was meeting a guy for the first date, and
mhm.
he found out that she was living in a hotel, and
Oh
he
yeah.
was like, "We shouldn't be dating. If you're
Right.
living in a hotel at this
Mhm.
point,
You
you're
should
not
not be
ready
dating.
to date."
That's right. Get your
And
life
she
together.
whipped out her camera and she wanted to shame the brother, because he was because saying that he was wrong and he was missing out on a good woman with good everything.
She makes six figures and she just bought her new truck and she's rebuilding her life. And it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter where she live at.
So wait, I'm
That's
confused.
that's
She
irrelevant.
she made six figures and she had a new truck and she was in the hotel while her house was being built? Is that what she?
No,
No,
she just lives in a hotel.
she just lives in a hotel, but she makes 6 figures.
That what she say.
He said, and the brother was like, "You got some priorities. You got to, but you need to get those straight before you date." And why does it matter where I live? Why does it matter?
And I initially just told Jay, I said her priorities out of whack. You worried about dating rather than actually having a stable roof over your head.
Mm-hmm. At 54, she was 54.
Yeah, she was 54 years old.
Maybe she just liked that the people cleaned for her. I don't know. If what she says is true, like if she really makes 6 figures and she has a vehicle, maybe she just
Right.
like to feel like a princess treatment every day. So she lives.
Or you could just get you a penthouse or
Could get a
what you call
penthouse,
it,
yeah,
and hire you a maid.
or a condo. They do all the
Yep.
cleaning and stuff for you
You
at
know
the
what I'm
condo.
saying? Like you can hire
Mhm.
people, like, but you ain't finna stay in no hotel, motel, or whatever and pay more. No.
Mhm.
Yeah, people. It's a lot of people out here dating with effed up priorities, and they should not be. I don't have not one dating app on my phone at all because currently I'm rebuilding my life. What I look like out here trying to find a partner.
Well, let
If
Ratchet change
y'all
up.
watched
We
this show
almost
in the
hit you.
beginning, kind of told you what I was going through, I would be crazy, absolutely off my fucking rocker to be out here trying to date with all the shit I got going on.
And
That
there's
don't
some
make
people
no
who
kind of
still
sense.
try.
What you say?
And there's some people who still try it
Oh,
though.
there's some people out here just like me, probably staying with their mama, out here dating on a dating app, ain't got job one.
It's some
Been a
dudes
long
out there
day.
that do it. Yeah,
It's
man.
some dudes
My
that do it too.
mama,
Mhm.
daddy, they stay with me.
No, you stay with your mom and daddy, sir. Well, on that note, we're gonna get ready to end this. We're coming up on 2 hours. We hope you found some very useful information in this podcast tonight. We're gonna post. I'm gonna post the links below for all the aids that you can get for mental health. Please take care of your mental health as much as you
Yep.
take care of your physical health. And if you're not taking care of your physical health, go get that seen about too. Okay. But
Yep.
we love you. Make sure you always love God, yourself, and others. That's our whole motto here. Thank you all for
Yes.
listening. Do y'all have any parting words for the people? For the
Yes.
people that's on?
Yeah. I don't make a dime off of this, but guys, this in reference to men's health, men's mental health. I want to submit a song by Dax and Darius Ruckus. It's actually been remixed. It's called "To Be a Man." Check that song out. I think you'll feel it, and it embodies what it is to be a man. So rock with me, brothers. Listen to that song, ladies. If you want to listen to how your men feel, sometimes you listen to that song as well. And I'll end with that.
All right.
Love y'all. Great to be here for another episode. Everybody who's tuning in, we love y'all as well. Thank y'all for supporting us. And on that note, we out, man. Pray for
Love
you.
y'all. Bye.
Bye, y'all.